Hello, and welcome back to Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves. We are, well, you are are listening to the third to last episode in season 2, and then we'll start season 3 the week after. But yeah, so this is episode, if I can math, this is episode 50 of season 2, 102 overall. I am still your host, Ike, and before I confuse numbers any more than I already do, I'd like to just take a moment and say thank you for giving this pod a listen. It really does mean a lot that you chose to use your precious time and give me and my guest your ears. If you want to subscribe, share it with friends, or just listen to it again, that would make my heart happy. And I would appreciate it a lot. If you want to. Or if you want to holler at me, just go to twitter.com/likeikes or message me at passionandpeevespodcast@gmail.com. So, last week's intro was a little on the short side as I was literally doing it as I was running out the door. This week, I have very little to run out the door to, other than watching the rest of season 3 and final season of Ted Lasso with my best friend and editor, Richard Ashford. We have been just binging it, and he's been keeping me honest from going into the wee hours of the morning because he's a responsible, goodly good boy. Part of the reason we probably work so well is he keeps me on the straight and narrow, and I tempt him. But watching the heck out of that, can't recommend it enough. Every time I think I know what's going on, I am proven wrong, and not in a way that doesn't work. Like, when you're watching your favorite sports team and they make a bad call and it blows up in their face, they lose the game. Every time I think I know what's going on and I'm wrong, it's because the show writing on this just piece of perfection is exactly that. Cannot recommend it highly enough. You will only need 1 week to watch the whole entire darn thing because it's so consuming. You will be forced to binge it all. So you don't need to give iTunes TV or Apple TV. That's how words work. You won't need to give Apple TV any of your money if you don't want to, and you have the watching urges such as I do. So this is my first Monday that I'm not like calling in or anything like that, where I am off of work or a holiday even. This is the beginning of a 2-month vacation. So excited. Gonna try to utilize it in all the best and worst ways. Today, it's just the laziest of ways. Browsing Reddit, and, well, as much as I could with it being down at the moment, or parts of it being down. I'm not fully understanding what's going on, other than it annoys the crap out of me. But, playing lots of video games and just lounging about. If any of you are also fans of video essays, I just spent 2 hours watching, having my heart sing and crying a little bit, watching the most recent video essay by the fantastical Breadsword. Link in the description down below to his most recent video, assuming that it hasn't been taken down again. I think it was like 4 times in the last couple days. I was trying to watch it. It was taken down. He re-uploaded it, taken down, re-uploaded it, and given how much work you put into it, I'm glad that I got to watch it all the way through, and I hope you do too if that's something you're into. It is a long one, but a great one, so highly recommend. Speaking of things that went well and great, the intro from last week, if I remember correctly, was recorded before I left, I think. If not, this is a, redux, I guess. Dallas went well, not as great as needed. I ended up with a final record of 10 wins, 4 losses, when I needed 10 wins, 3 losses, and a draw, or better, to either get money or go to the next Pro Tour. So, shucks, but, also, it's a great win percentage, and if you can continue to, mirror over time, eventually you'll get there. So, very proud of my performance. Didn't make any big blunders, had a couple big brain moments that I was very proud of, and overall played well. Hope I was a pleasant opponent, which is what I was going for partway through the day, and I very much rallied from my start of being 0 wins and 2 losses to start the tournament. So rally back to then going 10-2 from rounds 3 on. So Very proud of that. Obviously, wish it, had a better outcome, but here we are. Either which way, there it is. But the thing that went amazing, so while my weekend didn't go as one would hope or dream, but I kind of already had that last time in San Diego, past guest and great friend Bradley Schlesinger, hope I'm getting your last name right, bud, not only matched my performance in San Diego, did one better and won the whole shebang. And it could not have happened to a sweeter, nicer, Chadley boy than Bradley. So if you hear this, Brad, I am so proud of you. And it's deserved in every manner. You play well, you played hard, and karmically, I don't think anybody deserves it more than you. So congratulations, bud. I'll see you in Vegas. Have a great time in Barcelona without me. Speaking of going to places without me, holy shit. So I had one straight flight. Living in LA has some perks of getting a lot of straight direct flights from major city to major city, which is lovely. And flew from LAX direct to Dallas Fort Worth and Dallas Fort Worth back. Huzzah! However, in those two flights, I found a way to get 5 delays. 2 while in Dallas coming back, 3 in LAX going forward. LAX going forward, the delays sucked because of the miscommunication and all that jazzle. However, in Dallas, it was kind of nice. I don't know if any of you have been, but the Dallas-Fort Worth airport is quite lovely, albeit immense. I didn't realize I should have taken this, but they have these escalators that go up seemingly a couple floors to this skyline thing. I was like, whatever, I'm in D section. I'll just walk down to like D40 or D4 or whatever it was. I don't remember which end of it was on or needed to walk to. Holy shit. Got my steps in. I'll tell you what, it is so darn big. However, nice when I got there was, and part of this was it was super duper late at night, there was plenty of seating and plenty of charging ports. The chairs were nice, and they had a very smart thing of along the top of the like ceiling of where your eye line kind of goes to, they had these really big, well printed LED screens showing which gates were boarding, where they were headed, if they'd changed, if they'd moved, and you could see them wherever you looked, so you didn't have to be facing sitting facing the gate that you were leaving from to like be appraised of your destination and the timing and such. So this is very nice and thoughtful and very appreciated. Speaking of very appreciated, sorry, this is a long-winded list, but I want to keep you guys appraised before I forget about it. And also, hope you guys give a shit. Yesterday, drove down with past guest and good friend Jake Edwards to San Diego to play in what we thought was going to be a 32-person regional championship qualifier for Atlanta later this year. However, it ended up only being 18 people. Luckily, they still, there's no like, there's a set number, but that was above it. So played 18-person RCQ. We both ended up going to the elimination rounds. Sadly, I vanquished my ride, and nicely enough, he did not leave without me. And then I went on to vanquish the other people and win my, not ticket, but my seat in the Atlanta Regional Championship later this year. So, huzzah! We did it again. So it's kind of nice. I had the last couple very good seasons. Last season, I think it was like I played 2 or 3, top 8'd, qualified. This season I effectively played 5, top 8'd all 5, and then won my 5th one. So. Oh. Well, I'll go from a childish experience to an adult one in my last 2 before we get to the guest. I promise. Only 2 more little tidbits. One of them is a little bit more bit than tid. While in Vegas, and if bathroom talk, as it were, is something of an issue for you, skip ahead. I'll try to make this exactly 1 minute. No, that's not going to be enough. Shit. Pun intended. Skip forward 2 minutes from now. Okay, so went out, had great food with Bradley the night before he ended up getting his victory. Woohoo! Had all this great food from like a smorgasbord kind of place where I had a bunch of different food stalls. Get a bunch of food, had a great time, and come back to the place, pass out. I wake up to the weirdest feeling ever. Wake up, and I am sitting on porcelain, and I don't know why, and I don't know how I got there, because last I checked, I was in my bed. I don't remember getting out of my bed. I don't remember going in there. It's pitch black. I can feel that I'm touching porcelain. That's it, and I don't know why. And all of a sudden, my body reminds me as why. As I took the Browns to the Super Bowl in magnificent fashion, my soul exited by my body. I became face to face with Jesus and all of his disciples, even though they be dead. It was a wholehearted, unpleasant vacating of the bowl. And then I realized that the porcelain I was seated on was not the toilet. I had been sitting aft in shower for fuck knows why. Apparently in my sleeping stupor that quantified as the same thing as a toilet. So then, after that occurred, as I was sharing the board with 3 other people at 4 a.m, I got to clean up said shower full of sludge, much to my chagrined dismay. So, that happened. Hope you found that as funny as I did upon reflection. And about my 2 minutes are up. So, yeah. Train your sleeping body to remember the difference between shower and toilet. My New Year's recommendation. And back to our normally scheduled programming. I had this weird moment today when, messing around, Googling stuff, watching 2-hour-long video essays and enjoying my life, that I am so excited that after I record next week's podcast tomorrow, I think I'm going to spend like 5 hours just cleaning and sorting my room, and I am giddy. Like a kid on Christmas, I am giddy to get to that moment. And I don't know if this means I'm an adult or a man-child or somewhere in between, and I don't really give a fuck. But I don't, if any of you have had the same experience, please message me so I don't either feel so alone or I can feel promptly judged, because I am just curious. How many of you have had the similar experience? Feel free to reach out to me at twitter.com/likeikes or passionandpeevespodcast@gmail.com. Today's episode, we have William BLOXHAM. Recommendation of a recommendation. At this point, I don't remember who recommended who, but was a lovely guest, very much was willing to stand the test of nonsense in regards not to me, or not only to me, but also because we had crazy connection and just technical difficulties. It was, I think this episode's like an hour 40 or something. We spent the better part of 3 hours doing this, with him changing rooms, him changing audio and like interfaces and everything. So kudos to him. Thank you so much, William. You were a trooper of troopers. And I apologize for any and all of the sound quality changes. I'm sure Richard did his damnedest, but this was an undertaking unlike any other. So apologies. Hopefully next week will be better. We don't know what the hell this happened, but thank you so much, William, and thank you so much for all sticking around through all my blathering, and I hope you enjoy the episode. Take it away, past me. Okay, folks. Today with me, I've got a doctor, a psychic. He's been to all 50 states of us and has touched all 3 states of matter. It's Will BLOXHAM!
Hey.
How we doing there, buddy?
I'm good. A little tired.
Feel that.
It's been a busy week at work, but otherwise, doing pretty good.
Are you doing good enough to tell us your favorite movie line that you like to quote for no particular reason at all?
Let me think about that. It's the wallet that says bad motherfucker on it.
So, interestingly enough, I live here in Los Angeles. I met the guy that made that wallet for Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he has a stand if any of y'all want to go find it at Smorgasburg every Sunday here in the Industrial District in Los Angeles. Also, you can get delicious eats and funky stuff.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I believe he still sells those wallets, and he was commissioned. I believe it was like initially the guy was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And then Quentin was like, wad of money. He's like, yeah, all right. And like made it, and the rest is history.
There you go. Learn something new.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do here on the Preposterous Peeves and Passionate People podcast.
All right.
Well, what was your first concert and what was your best concert?
My first concert, I remember, I probably went to a Santana concert when I was really young with my folks.
Sick.
Yeah, I don't remember being that hyped. It was like a K-Fog thing. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the coolest concert that I like to say that I got to go see, and it's really one that I consider my first. I saw Dilated Peoples, Gangstar, and Rage Against the Machine at the Arco Arena.
Whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah, that was like 99, I think. It's a long time ago.
Damn.
Yep.
Coming in hot. Well, as we're talking about illustrious names and such, who's someone you've never met, alive or dead, that you'd like to have lunch with?
David Bowie. I think that guy would be a really interesting person to pick their brain.
Fuck yeah. Also just seems like very chill.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's somebody that like people fanboyed out about, and also he himself fanboyed about other people. Like I was seeing a bunch of like cool like memes and quotes of his, to whether it be interviews or just standalones. And one of them was he was talking about his first time, I think it was like meeting Paul McCartney or John Lennon, and he just geeked out so hard. It's like he was so pure in that he wasn't like, he wasn't so aloof that the idea of meeting a Beatle was just a below him or anything like that. He's just like, oh my god, it's John Lennon. Yeah. And like he freaked out about it. It's like, that's so cute.
Yeah.
And also just, I don't know, everything I've never seen a moment where I'm like, ugh, I don't know if I can like this guy. It's always been like, I don't know how I couldn't love this man.
Yeah.
So choice.
I think he could be pretty intense. That kind of my imagining, but I don't know. He could be warm and friendly too.
Either which way, definitely worth a hang.
Yeah.
Where would you take him to go eat?
That's a good question. Probably Farmhouse Thai.
Ooh.
Yeah. Have you ever been?
No, but it sounds like I'd love to.
Yeah, it's pretty well done up. It's there's a spot in San Francisco and one in Oakland in Jack London Square. The one in Jack London Square is really like nice and I don't know. They just go wild in there. They put all sorts of stuff up. It's all neon colors, and then people dress in kind of like.
I'm looking at the spread, and it is wild. The different colors of rice. The meat looks choice. Yeah, that is oh boy.
Yeah, you got to get the 24-hour beef noodle stew. That's the one. It's like $30 now, but it's worth it.
Yeah, still sounds choice. What's your favorite non-traditional curse word?
I like holy smokes. That's one I say a lot.
It's a great one. Really, it's got like a nice phonetic quality to it. You can say it around anybody. It doesn't have to be positive or negative. It depends on your inflection. Like, I mean, I guess that's a lot of them, but like, I don't know, son of a bitch. It's really hard to be positive, but like, holy smokes,
Yeah.
holy smokes, like you can change the direction of that metaphorical boat with what kind of oomph you put on it.
Yeah.
Did you grow up particularly religious? Is that something that came from like, don't curse, you're in church kind of thing? Or
No.
what is it about Holy Smokes that really just gets you going?
I don't know. I think it's just something you don't hear very often from people.
For sure. It does have that like hipster quality of being like, very unique and it kind of ties it to your own saddle.
Yeah, exactly.
What media, whether it be graphic novel, TV show, book, or movie, have you been putting off as next on your to consume list that you just can't wait to break open given the opportunity?
Wow.
Or if you got multiples, feel free to sling some recs.
I don't really have anything right now that I can think of. It's been such a crazy year. I took 2 tests. I moved. I've been having a crazy week at work. So
Which was harder, the tests or moving?
the tests definitely. I was for the licensure test. It's like you just have to study for a whole month, basically. I didn't do anything but like go to work, come home, read this material, and then I took the whole week off before I took the licensure test. And thankfully I passed it because I don't think I could go through that again. But it was quite a process. I guess the media that I would say is I recently got back into play video games.
Nice. What we rocking?
Well, right now I'm playing Assassin's Creed Origins.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's the first Assassin's Creed I've ever played. So I'm new to the franchise, and I feel like this is a really cool game because it gives you a lot of history about Egypt and what life might have been like. So it's kind of based in somebody's idea of history and how it happened. I'm digging that. But otherwise, I got Mortal Kombat 5 and I think Borderlands, which
Nice.
I haven't played video games in like probably 15 years. So it's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting back to it.
Well, I mean, the best part about it is everything's new. So
Yeah.
I can buy $5 games and be just as entertained as a brand new one that came out last week. It doesn't matter to me. So
That's fucking rad. Yeah, it's like one of the best parts.
yeah.
Do you have a life hack you'd like to share with the class so that they too can improve their daily living?
I think maybe it's not a life hack. But going for a run or exercising before you go to work if you can wake up early enough to do that, it really changes your outlook on everything. You become a completely different, better person throughout the day just by starting with a workout.
Right on. What is your preferred workout these days?
I'm still running. So I ran Boston back in April. It was my second time running it. And it's one of those things that you just have to keep running. Like, you just run a lot every week. And you just focus and you have a goal and then you do it. And
it's just that easy.
I guess. I mean, if you want to do it, you can do anything you put your mind to. So, I don't know. For me, it was one of those things where I never expected to run races or do anything like. It just kind of happened. I started running as exercise, and eventually I saw somebody that I knew run a marathon, and I was like, fuck that guy. If that guy can run a marathon, I can do it. And I did. And I'm still doing it.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
All right. I'm going to put you in a different circumstance where you want to stand out and look awesome. Let's say you're going to a party and you want to look radical. Other than your normal attire, what accessory would you add to your ensemble?
Probably bring my skateboard. I don't know. That's
Hell yeah.
That's my normal ensemble. Call it.
What's your who do you like to rep when rocking skate gear? What's your preferred company?
My buddies, I don't know what you call it. Skateboard media company now. It used to be a skate shop called Metro, and he took Metro and he's made a skate camp out of it, but it's also he does like Instagram, and he does a segment on Thrasher called Skateline. So he's got his hands in a lot of different pies.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's always nice to be able to rep a friend's biz. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time growing up at his skate shop, so...
Hell yeah. I never skated, but that was me when I was growing up in the middle of nowhere, Fallon, Nevada. I had a friend that his mom had... It was so weird. His mom had like this little... it wasn't an antique shop, but it was somewhere between an antique shop and a furniture store.
Mm-hmm.
And in the back, she let her sons open up a little skate shop.
Oh, cool.
And so there's all these like... there's all these like nice... beds and, stuff like that, like, homeowners would come in and buy, and in the back corner, this is like the, like, mid to late 90s, in the back corner, there's this skate shop with a bunch of, like, vagrant looking motherfuckers, just probably high, just sitting back there, just waxing their boards, slinging every curse word they know in every other sentence.
Yeah, that tracks.
What life lesson do you wish you learned sooner?
Oh. Definitely the importance of confidence and having something that makes you feel confident and secure in yourself. Whether it's like playing music or skateboarding or doing anything like that. It's really hard when you're young, especially going through middle school and high school and you just don't know anything about the world. I wish I had like a mentor when I was that age that could help me along that path a little bit more, because I feel like I'm a much different, better person now because I have more confidence than maybe I did at that time.
Like, the hardest thing too is not only having confidence, but having, like, I don't want to say there's like a perfect amount, but there's a right amount of confidence where it's not too much, right? Because like if you have too much confidence, it doesn't come, it can no longer come across as confidence, especially if you're young.
Right.
It comes across as, just like being like, just like
Insecure.
full of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, insecurity. Like you have to like thread that needle. It's like you've got to, not too much, not too little. You want to find that right amount. It's just like, it is such a hard thing. They have to, and part of it is growing up, but also part of it is like being sure of yourself, like you said. Totally.
Yeah, and I think it's about, finding who you are and being comfortable in it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do when you're 16.
Dude, it's fucking hard to do when you're 30.
That's true.
I'm 35 and I'm barely just figuring that shit out.
Yeah, well, all you gotta do is just keep at it and find something that makes you unique. And I think, you got this going for you. That's a cool thing.
It is. Thank you.
Yeah.
What's your favorite meal to make just for yourself, assuming cost and time are not relevant factors?
Let me tell you about favorite breakfast.
Yes.
Favorite breakfast is lox and bagels, but I really do it up. And I do this for myself like 2-3 times a week. You just get the lox and you toast the bagel, you cream cheese it up, and you throw like some onions and some tomatoes and like some capers. And then you got to get the sprinkles. You got to get like some garlic salt, like some smoked paprika, like Italian seasoning. You just bam, that motherfucker. I like to eat it with kimchi, and also like you can't have favorite breakfast without coffee, of course. Like it's necessary.
What kind of coffee are we going? What kind of coffee is getting added next to said fantastic bagel?
Well, usually I rep Bicycle Coffee. They're right down the street from my house. You could get a 2.5 pound bag for like $35. That's not bad.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
I'll keep you in business for a month or two.
Yes, sir. What's your favorite non-exercise thing you have to force yourself to do every day?
Go to work.
Or regularly? Go to work. The slog begins again.
Oh, man. Some days it's just a lot.
Do you think it would be easier or just as hard if you could like work from home?
Well, I can do some of my work from home. I actually am allowed to work 2 days a week from home. COVID kind of changed psychology because you can actually call people on a telephone and you don't have to necessarily see them in person. So I have been working 1 day a week from home. But when my supervisor gets back from vacation, I'm going to start 2 days a week because my mental health demands it. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Self-care, best care.
Yeah. And especially when you're working with clients like I am, community mental health, a lot of homelessness and substance use and just like problems from having low socioeconomic status, it can be overwhelming at times.
So, since we're on the topic of rough times and occupation, what's a job that at some point in your life you wanted to pursue but are very glad you didn't?
My dad's an attorney, or he used to be. He's retired now.
Yeah.
And I spent about 7-8 years at his law office, something like that. I was a legal assistant. God, I'm thankful I didn't become an attorney. But I'm not sure psychology is much better, actually. I don't know. I just don't like fighting, and that's 100% of being an attorney.
For sure. All right, I'm going to throw you a bit of a curveball.
Yeah.
What inanimate object would you be best friends with were it sentient?
All right. So the first thing that came to mind was my skateboard, but obviously I used that already, so that's kind of a lame answer. I think...
Also, it'd be a little awkward, right? Like, because you're jamming on it really hard, you're shoving it against stuff.
Yeah.
you're physically abusing this best friend.
I suppose
You're like, hold
true.
on, let's go for a ride. He's like, this is gonna hurt, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
it will. So I decided probably the refrigerator. And
Love it.
And I bet that's probably a popular answer. But I feel like if my refrigerator is sentient and it can move around with me, I'm just always feeding myself, and it can just come to me if I'm on the couch or something, I need a beer or whatever, it's just gonna say, yeah, I got you, homie. It's good.
Yeah, it's the homie that's always got the juice.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on the topic of foods and such, if you were a condiment, which do you think you'd be?
Hot sauce.
Anyone in particular, or just everyday hot sauce?
Yeah. I don't know. I like hot sauce a lot. I don't have any specific one, but the spicier the better.
Loves them all the same.
I wouldn't say so, but it's gotta be spicy, you know?
Well, you could always go for the top rung and go for the bomb beyond insanity.
That's true. I've had that one before. Funny story about that, actually. I was...
yes, please. Let's go.
Excuse me.
I'm here for it.
I was in New Orleans with some friends of mine, and we walked into a hot sauce shop, and the guy behind the counter was like, "Oh, this is the hottest hot sauce," and everybody was like, we'll try it. And I was like, all right. And he put a couple dabs on my hand or whatever, and I licked it. I was like, yeah, it's hot, you know? And the guy behind the counter was shocked. He was like, I've never seen anybody react that way. And gave me some free hot sauce. That was cool.
Yeah.
Nice little interaction. I was like, oh, cool. I love doing spicy challenges like that.
What was what was that, the bomb that you just took a couple dabs on and you're like, oh, that's kind of hot?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That stuff is I mean, mad kudos. That stuff is toxic waste. That shit will burns to the floor. I have never met anybody that just kind of like shrugs that off.
I mean,
I've met people that take it better than others, but
it was
just
hot.
like quasi shrug.
It was hot. But for a while, my buddy was growing ghost peppers in the backyard, and I would just go out there and pick a ghost pepper and just eat it. And just to get my body accustomed
just to feel something.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we found the psychopath. All right. Now, who would you want to play you in a movie of your life? You can choose the time period of what point in your life is being portrayed and the time period of the actor if they've perchance aged out of when they looked most like you.
I've been told that when I'm shaved, I look like Ryan Gosling. I don't know if... he's a good actor. I think he could play me. Sure.
I'm shocked that you're not shaved all the time, if that's if that's how you're getting compared.
I don't know. People really like the beard, too. So, I don't...
Maybe Ryan Gosling should grow a bigger beard. Maybe the takeaway
that might be it.
What time period of your life would really make a good movie, do you think?
Oh, man. I would say... How many years do I get?
As long as you want.
As long as I want.
Maybe we're making a TV show. Who knows?
Okay. I'm going to go, I think 20 to 30. 20 to 30 was a pretty good stretch of time there where there's a lot of bullshit. All right, that's when I did the road trip and learned everything.
The road trip?
Yeah.
You might need to expound, Skosh.
Oh, well, so I've been to all 50 states.
Right on.
And I went to all the lower 48 in 2 road trips. I did like the west to Midwest, like all those northern 8 states, the ones that are enormous. That took about, I think, 2 weeks, something like that, close to that, which was not that bad. It was a pretty quick, easy thing. It was fun. Maybe it was a week. I don't remember now. But
just making good time.
Yeah. But I went to 42 different states in one road trip in a Cadillac Eldorado, 1989, I think. And we went and we hit just everything in about a month. And we spent just days on the road. And it was one of the best experiences of my life.
Damn.
Just like, it's the only way to see the country, really.
Yeah. Any states that you'd recommend or not recommend?
Honestly, I recommend all the states because I think driving through them, they're all unique. Mm-hmm. There's something redeeming about every one of them, at least naturally. I can't speak to the people of every state. Mostly because I didn't meet the people in every state. Some states
Sure.
You're just zooming through.
Yeah. Which state would you run back first? If you were going back to a state, which state would you go to first and which state would you save for last?
Wow. That's an interesting question. I feel like when I did that trip, I was really interested in seeing every state. And I don't think there was one particular favorite. It's kind of hard to say. I think going through it so fast had something to do with it, but also, I don't really feel like I got a flavor for every state, so I feel uncomfortable, like I prefer one over the other.
For sure.
But one of the most interesting experiences I had while driving through a state was driving through, I think, Alabama, because it's a small state, but I think it's either the only one or one of two states where you're actually allowed to have an open container in your car and you can drink and drive as long as you remain under the legal limit, which is...
Some things are starting to come together.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty wild, right?
That is very wild.
I'm pretty sure it's still legal.
I believe it and don't believe it simultaneously, if that tracks at all.
Yeah.
Speaking of poor man luxuries, such as driving with an open container, what poor man luxury do you still enjoy to this day?
Poor man luxury.
If you'd like some definitions, I got some for you.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think it's a real big luxury to drive a shitty car that you don't care about, because you don't have to worry about washing it. You don't have to worry about who's going to scratch it. If you bump into something, it's fine. You don't need to get it taken care of. You just let it be what it is.
You've just described my approach and every vehicle I've ever owned.
It's pretty much mine too, but it makes a difference if you're driving a fancy car, you know?
Fact. Can. It definitely feels... I can imagine that. I've driven somebody else's car, and I definitely know that feeling versus when I drive my car, to be sure.
I hate washing my car. I just, put it off forever.
I used to be very lucky and work near a very convenient, good gas station that also had a, washing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the price was good enough, or at least it was at the time.
Yeah.
So I just
hose it down.
$20 and then just go through it and come out as clean as it was ever going to get.
Yeah.
It's lovely. Well, lastly, before we throw it to a commercial break, if you could have listeners of this podcast hear one song of your choosing, which would it be?
Yeah. One of my favorite songs of all time is called Rock and Roll by the Velvet Underground. I feel like it's just a pure artistic expression of somebody who is just in love with music. Lou Reed just sounds like he's having the best time. He's just rocking, and he's not worried about making money. He's not worried about anything but having a good day making music, and I vibe with that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to throw it to our first break. Feel free to stick around and enjoy the totally real commercial, or take a minute to enjoy Rock and Roll by the Velvet Underground. Or if you really wanted to hear a song from a previous episode, check out the playlist on Spotify, Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves podcast, Song Rex. It's a long title, I know. Don't worry, there's a link in the description. Either way, see you in a jiffy. Have you ever just looked at fried carbs on a plate and thought, I need to eat those, but it doesn't taste all that appetizing? Introducing catsup. Catsup is a sugary and red syrupy paste that'll overshadow any unappreciated taste. Simply douse the unpreferred tasting object and ingest. Mmm. Thanks, catsup. Welcome back, everybody. So, Will, what is your passion?
I'd say I'm passionate about living in the moment. I feel like there's so much shit and chaos in the world and so many distractions that any opportunity that you have that you can actually sit and focus and be present is a gift. And for me, when I'm with other people and, you know, focused on being with other people, like, that's all you get. The present is all you get. And so, to me, if you're like a shitty person or like, you know, you're doing...
My ears are burning.
I don't know. I don't know about you, but I try to make the moment good for everybody.
Hell yeah.
I really feel passionate about the fact that, you know, we're only here for so long. And, you know, at the end of the day, when the heat death of the universe happens, what's going to matter? Is it going to be like how much money you made or what kind of car you drove? Or is it going to be...
I hope not.
Yeah. Or is it going to be how you made someone feel in the moment? You know? For me, that's really powerful.
So I feel like for a lot of people, being passionate about living in the moment is like, and I no slight against this, but I'm imagining that a lot of people hear that and they go, like, that's the equivalent of being happy that you're happy. How would you define or synthesize or most clearly inform somebody of what living in the moment is to you?
I think, again, just being present, doing everything that you can to support the people that you love, and even the people that you might not love. People can be shitty for all sorts of different reasons. That doesn't mean you have to be. I've always found that the nicer that you are, even if you're being treated really shitty, good things tend to come your way. Whether it's an opportunity or a new friend or, you know, I truly believe that the energy you put out, you get back. And if you're treating people wrong, if you're being mean for no reason, or, you know, it's just your learned pattern of behavior, those are the people that you end up hanging around. And it has an influence on you. And so for me, I try to be a positive person. I try to attract positive people. And I do nice things for my friends and for the other positive people in my life. I don't think that's a concise way of putting anything, but I mean, I believe that to be the truth. I've seen it happen in my life, in other people's lives, my clients' lives.
Do you think it's the act of putting the good out there that is beneficial, or do you like?
Well, I think
How do I want to say this? So, like, I think a lot of people get hung up, especially myself earlier in life, got hung up with this idea of the universe having this like force about it.
mm-hmm.
But from the more I talk to people, it seems like, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the act of putting good out there is almost the reward.
Absolutely.
As opposed to this idea that it's like a boomerang of like goodness, that you throw it and then it comes back to you, rather that the act of throwing is the return.
I agree with that, but I also believe that when you throw it out, part of the reason that it comes back is because you're doing things that attract that kind of energy. Like, people like people, you know? Like, they say opposites attract. I don't fully believe that. I think it does in some cases. But if you have a negative attitude, you're going to attract people with negative attitudes. If you have a positive attitude, you're going to attract people with positive attitudes. Because, you know,
interesting.
I mean,
okay. Yeah.
It's just like, you know, a mirroring effect.
Like, kind of like be the lure to the fish that you want to catch, basically.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's a good.
Like, if you want to be like, if I guess if you want to be hanging out with negative people, be an asshole. But if you want to be hanging out with people who care and are nice, be caring and nice, because, you know, opposites attract in certain circumstances, but by and far we look for the similarities between each other. We always look for the shirt. We always look for the people wearing the shirt of the band that we like.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. When did this first kind of start to hold on. Is that the right word? Matriculate? Kind of. All right. When did this first kind of start to form in your life, this idea and this practice? About what age was this when you really first started to formulate this ethos?
You know, that's a hard question. I could throw it all the way back to childhood, where, you know, I have a brother, a younger brother.
Me too.
Yeah. I don't know how you were raised, but me and my brother are 2 years apart, and I was never allowed to beat him up. And yeah, I mean,
allowed to beat him up. Love that sentence.
You know, he was very aggressive to me a lot of times. And sometimes I feel like if I could have just, you know, spent some time really kicking his ass, things might be a little different.
Sure.
But, you know, I was just raised not to be aggressive towards him or anybody else. And so because of that, I had to take a lot of those aggressive urges and figure out something to do with them. I didn't have a good middle school sort of career. I don't know. Career is a weird way of putting it. But, you know, I feel like I got tormented a lot. But I feel like that also reconfirmed the person that I am today, where it's like, yeah, I suffered. I went through a lot of shit. I dealt with a lot of shit. Just people being assholes for no reason. And during that time, I was like, what's wrong with me? You know? Like, why do people want to kick my ass? I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm just like, you know, doing my own thing. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
And middle school was not like that for me. And so after going through it and coming out and then going to like high school and still having like a kind of outcast experience. I feel like that really taught me the importance of being kind even in difficult situations. It makes you a stronger person. Kindness really makes you a strong person.
Yeah.
And when you're going through it, you feel very weak. But, you know, it's okay. Like,
it's kind of like how if I'm understanding you correctly, kindness is like listening and talking is like being like kind of blunt or like kind of aggressive, right? And that while it doesn't come across as strength, it is truly like one of the most important and powerful things to do. It can be utilized in a way of like progression, but it also can be utilized in a way of kindness, right? Like listening is being an active listener is like one of the most difficult things and doesn't come across as something that's respectable, but it's something that everybody appreciates. Same with being kind.
Sure.
It's not something that reads as strength or as, you know, this ability, but it's something that everybody likes in other people.
Yeah. I think, you know, again, I think it's the most important thing. It's the only thing. Anybody that feels differently, I think, is misguided. I think, you know, if you're not kind to others, there's something wrong with you. I don't know what it is. I'm not here to diagnose anybody. Yeah. But honestly, if you're not making other people's lives better, yeah, you're missing the point.
So we're figuring this out in our junior high, you know, brother time career. When did you ever like do any research, read anything about this, listen to any like TED Talky kind of stuff, or was this like self-formulated?
This is self-formulated.
Hell yeah.
I agree with, you know, all those other people. I mean, I know that it's out there, but I don't feel the need to seek it out. I already know it. You know, it's personal to me.
Right on.
And I'm not the kind of person that goes out and proselytizes either. I mean, it's like a personal belief that I have. And, you know, everybody else can do whatever they want and believe whatever they want. But that's what I believe.
Right on. what would you say are in your times kind of seeking this out, occasionally communicating with other people about this? What would you say is the biggest misconception about living in the moment by the wider world?
I think I would say that the biggest misconception would be that you, in some way, can always live in the moment. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know that even if you're a trained Zen Buddhist, like, I don't know if Buddha ever lived 100% in the moment. I feel like part of the human experience is being in many different realities at the same time. We're often, in the moment, thinking about a future moment or a past moment, and being present in the current moment often is something that only happens for a fraction of, your life, probably. And I think certain activities can help you do that. For me, skateboarding has been a big activity for me to do that. I feel like I'm able to do that somewhat running, but often when I find myself in the present moment, I'm at the bar shooting the shit with friends, having a beer or two. Something about the magic elixir of beer is really conducive to being present with other people in a certain moment. And you can overdo that very easily. But like having one or two, I think it changes things in a positive way sometimes. Totally. And I'm not advocating anybody drink beer or drink alcohol if it's not for you. But for me,
just for you,
for me, I find that to be the case.
So often we see some people's passions show up in movies and TV shows or fiction. Have you noticed in either film, TV, books, what have you, that your passion is either shown in your estimation kind of correctly or incorrectly? Do you have any times that you've noticed, but like, that's what are they doing, or that, wow, they nailed it?
I don't feel like that's ever something I've looked for. I feel like in media, I look for an escape from reality, not so much a reflection of it, even though it's there. Yeah, I don't know.
Totally. That's a great way, and something that a lot of people, or I think plenty of people see it that way, but it's a really cool way to typify the way you seek out media. That's really awesome.
Oh, thank you.
On the flip side of my prior question, do you have a favorite non-obvious aspect about living in the moment that you have found that either you didn't expect or that I think a lot of people aren't aware of when it comes to that, like, kind of lifestyle perception choice?
I don't know how to answer that. Can you expand on that thought a little bit?
So when talking to friends about, you know, playing Magic, one of the games that I've played my whole entire life is Magic the Gathering. And I think a lot of people don't realize how it helps you make friends or in certain cases like get jobs. It's like this added secondary benefit or something that, you know, one of the things that it did for me was when I went to college and I took Econ 101, I knew everything. I didn't know it by its technical name, but when they started explaining the way economics works in a macro sense, I was like, oh yeah, like got this. Because of the game I played, it had that as a fundamental building block. It had this resource management system that was very cyclical and all, you know, it kind of like rebooted. It has this turn cycle, like, you know, like there are season cycles and all this stuff. And it just like, it made sense instantly because of this game I had played.
Yeah. Well, I think the obvious answer is my psychology career. I feel like it sort of lent itself to, you know, talking to people and being in the moment with people and just really trying to understand another person's experience. I feel like thinking about the importance of living in the moment and, you know, being kind and everything we were just talking about, all of that sort of lends itself to a helping profession like psychology.
It makes, like, once you said it, I was like, oh yeah, duh. Like, it makes complete sense when you know, put others first, when you kind of stay in the pocket and you're able to, you know, stay kind of tuned in to what this other person's saying, talking about what their needs are, show compassion, show kindness, and your willingness to listen and maybe offer up some good advice or, you know, steer them in the right direction. I don't know how psychology works.
That's pretty accurate.
Yay, nailed it. That totally tracks. That there would be this, you know, incidental like bonus perk of, you know, practicing this lifestyle that like they just kind of like join hand in hand, which I mean makes sense when you care about others and you kind of look for the now and realize how much all this stuff is bullshit. Allows you to kind of cut to the core of yourself and others and help them see what matters and see what doesn't, and, you know, find those elements that they're missing and help lift them up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, enough with this positivity nonsense.
Sure.
Let's get on to some peeves of the preposterous variety.
Yeah.
William, my guy.
Yes.
What is your preposterous peeve? Let that hate out of your heart or that angst out of your anger.
One of my least favorite things to see in the whole world is people on those electric skateboards.
Oh, God, yes.
I don't know about you, but I've been skateboarding for close to 20 years, and I spent a lot of time learning how to push and doing things properly, and not being a kook has been very important. And those electric skateboards, people have absolutely no business riding that fast on a skateboard like that, are doing it constantly in traffic. And it's wild to me. And I don't know what they think they're doing, or what what kind of vibe they think they're giving off. Sure. But to me, I'm just like, these fucking guys, they're gonna kill themselves. These fucking...
I love how you're staying in the like humanitarian angle and not going, these fucking cheaters.
That's not cheater. I worked
so hard.
It's nothing about cheating. It's like, it's just, I feel like people think they're skateboarding. Like, they're going fast, so they're cooler than like a person on another skateboard or something. I mean, I don't know. But having a electric controller and just like moving on a skateboard is just weird to me. It's like defeating the entire purpose. Part of like being on a skateboard at all is the process. It's the kick, it's the push, it's the, I'm going to ollie up this curb and I'm going fast, but like, I'm not like, I don't know how to explain it for anybody that's not me, I guess. It's just, it just looks foolish to me. It just looks foolish.
I'm kind of on the outside looking in. I was never coordinated enough to skate, and I wasn't willing to get the like bruises, broken bones,
sure,
and like road rash to like figure that out.
Yeah, it costs.
Part of that was I wasn't willing to pay the cost to be the boss. Yeah. Part of that was my mom was worried for me, and part of that was I have terrible dexterity except when it comes to saving throws.
Okay.
But the saving throw only works when I'm on my feet. The second I'm on a board. The last time I was on a skateboard, I think I was 12.
Okay.
And I literally put one foot on it, and then I was on my back, and the skateboard was in the air. And I was like, that's enough. And I just got up, and I've never touched a skateboard again, because that's not where I belong, and I don't want to work that hard to figure that out.
That's fair.
But then these people are like getting these electric boards, and it's like you didn't have to work for it. It feels like cheating, and it's also like I don't want to be that guy who's like old man like yelling at cloud, but it feels like far more dangerous than it's been led on to like take the humanitarian angle as opposed to just the old man who's just like, I couldn't do this when I was a kid, why should you get to? But it does feel like it's one of those things where like kids and young adults are like being able to go very fast with like little to no training on it.
Exactly.
Especially considering you can just like buy it, walk out the door, and just get on it. It's like,
well,
how many accidents are caused by that, or how many accidents are going to be caused?
Yeah, and not only that, but like you're talking about, you weren't willing to pay the cost and take the scrapes and the bumps, but taking those scrapes and bumps, you learn how to fall. You learn how to not hurt yourself in a precarious situation.
Yeah.
And the people that don't have that experience are going to get hurt way worse than somebody with the experience going at the same speed. For instance, so I have a electric scooter, which initially I thought was like really, really lame. I mean, when I first saw those Lime scooters or the Bird scooters or whatever, I just was like, no, fuck. I just wrote it off. And then one day I got on one of them. And I was like, wow, this is really fun. And it goes just about as fast as a skateboard when you're going as fast as you can on a skateboard. And I've gone down many times on those scooters. And, I know how to fall. So, because I've been skateboarding for 20 years. But if you don't know how to fall, you're going to hurt yourself pretty bad. It's just, there's no way around it. And like, you get comfortable going at a certain speed, and you know, like, okay, if I'm going at that speed, this is how I have to fall. But people that don't have that experience just get wrecked, and they go to the hospital. And then, you know, whose fault is that?
Yeah. Have you ever seen somebody or had an interaction with somebody with these electric scooters that really kind of left you rolling your eyes or just infuriated?
I mean, I think just seeing them in the bike lane, in any given circumstance, I'm just like, you're in traffic, you have no business being there, you are going to hit a rock, you're going to hit a curb, you're going to hit something, you're going to get run over, you're going to get hurt. Just don't. Just don't. It's just, you don't look cool. You're wearing a helmet. You're using it to get to work. You know, it's just leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
All right, and with that, we're gonna head to our second ad break, but don't go anywhere, because when we get back, William is going to enter the lightning round.
Lightning round. Let's go.
Having trouble staying awake?
Oh, yeah.
Wish you'd followed your dream so you had the give a crap necessary to meet your deadlines?
Oh, definitely.
Are you likely to be fired the second another warm body walks through that door and asks your boss for an application?
Probably.
Would you prefer to keep this shit sack of a job instead of explaining to Susan that you've been fired?
I mean, I guess.
Well, then let me introduce you to caffeine. Caffeine is a highly addictive substance that'll keep you jittery and energized to do any fucking stupid task for hours.
That sounds like drugs.
It is.
Aren't drugs illegal?
Not this one. So next time you feel like sitting on the sidewalk instead of at your desk, reach for a caffeine.
Wait, you didn't tell me where I can buy it.
'Cause it's mother-loving everywhere, you blind Neanderthal. And we're back. Will, are you ready to enter
the lightning round?
I think so.
All right.
I entered the basement, so I'm ready for the lightning round.
All right, buckle your seatbelts and keep your arms inside the ride at all times. Will, is there a price for you to give up your passion forever?
No. Absolutely not.
Make the food or do the dishes?
Make the food.
Do you ever cheat on a test in school?
Hell yeah.
Would you rather have your inner monologue sound like Gilbert Gottfried or Fran Drescher?
Oof. Neither. Do I have to choose one? Probably Gilbert.
Is professional wrestling cool or lame?
I think it's cool. I'm ready to stand behind that.
You're having the best day of your life. What happens next? Another amazing thing or something terrible?
Oh, amazing things all the time, every day.
Nick Cage, best or worst ever?
He's pretty fucking good. Best ever? That's hard.
Do you create your own thoughts or do you just listen to them?
No, I create my own thoughts.
Album, shuffle, or playlist?
Album.
Would you rather the checkout line never had a line or the fast food place always gave you a large fry when you asked for a medium?
Checkout line never had a line.
Would you rather have the superpowers to travel into the vastness of space or travel into the darkness of the ocean depths?
Space.
Is there such a thing as a perfect piece of art?
No.
Have you ever had a crush on a cartoon character?
Yeah, I'm sure. 16-year-old me was into anime, sure.
What is more important, freedom or structure?
Freedom.
Would you rather have tentacle arms or kangaroo legs?
Kangaroo legs.
Sippy cup or straw?
Straw.
Would you rather meet an extraterrestrial or a ghost?
Extraterrestrial. And by meet, what are we talking about? We're talking about like have lunch with them?
Encounter them.
Encounter them. Probably the alien.
Could you eat 37 of your favorite food for $5,000 in a 1 hour time limit?
No, I don't think so.
Well, either way, congratulations! You've survived the lightning round!
Yay! All right.
Now, before we move on, I, like many listeners at home, would like to now know, what is your favorite food that you couldn't eat 37 of in a 1 hour time limit for $5,000?
I feel like it would be favorite breakfast, and obviously that's it'd be hard to eat 37 bagels.
Unless they were like mini bagels.
Even still, I think
That's
that'd be
cheating, I think.
difficult. Yeah.
Well, now that you have survived said lightning round, as a reward, you may now ask me, and in turn, future guests, said lightning round question.
All right, let's think about this. Well, you're an internet guy, right? Would you rather never be on the internet again or have the internet streamed directly into your brain 24/7?
Huh. Interesting. I feel like the right answer is no internet, but realistically, I think I would just take the L and just have it streamed into my brain at all times. Like, cause like I'm gonna go insane, but also like if I don't have access to the internet and everybody else does, I'm also gonna go insane. But this way, at least I get to look at like Reddit and like send people messages on like Insta or something. I don't know. I think I would cave and like take it. I think initially I'd be like, no internet ever again, and then like 2 weeks later I'd be like, fuck it, just put it in there,
inject it directly into my veins.
like worth it. Let's go.
All right, fair.
What about yourself?
No internet. I'll survive. I'll be a caveman.
I mean, right now you're looking like you're adapting pretty well.
Yeah.
For those of you that are confused at the sound quality and not knowing what I'm seeing, my guest has wandered into his basement so we could finish up the interview because technology sucks. And as we come to a close here, my friend, anything you want to plug, shout outs you'd like to give, places people can find you or your content?
Shouts out to you and Like Ike Productions. Thank you for interviewing me, Isaac.
Oh, my pleasure, man.
Let's see. Shouts out to Oakland United Brewery. I work there on the weekends sometimes, and they make great beer. Definitely, nice. If you're out in Oakland and Jack London Square, check them out. Metro Skateboard Shop. They've always had my back. Love them to death. Or not a skateboard shop anymore. Metro Productions, I guess. Joel Judiger, the fucking head of that. Let's see. I guess the Hume Center, which employs me and pays my bills. That's pretty cool. That's where I do psychology for community mental health. What else? What else am I going to plug right now? You know what? I'm going to give a shout out to my boy Luke Cattell, who is running Snack Nutrition, just because, you know, he's a guy that I like. My boy John Thatcher, you know, shouts out. You can find me if you're interested on Instagram. SFWillieB is the Instagram. I used to do some modeling. I have some nice modeling pictures on there, but you know it's kind of defunct now. Someday maybe I'll get back to that, but it's been busy. Let's see what else. I think that's about it. I think that'll cover it. I think, you know, moms and dads and and my brother, and let's see what else. Gotta thank God if he's up there, or if he's not, that's cool too. I'll still thank him. What else? I don't know. I think that about
Do you have
covers
any
it, right?
friends or family you'd like to nominate to come on the podcast so they too can suffer as you have today?
I'm gonna have to think about that.
Sick.
And I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
Joel Judiger might be into that. My boy Luke might be into that.
Sweet.
Who else? Yeah, I'll see if they're into it, and
Nice.
I'll hit you back.
Appreciate the consent and confirmation.
There you go. All right.
Well, thank you, William, for being my guest today, and a special thanks to my editor, Richard Ashford, and my composer, Joshua Gibbons. And thank you, yes, you listening at home, or where you found time to appreciate this. Time is the most precious commodity we have, and I really appreciate you spending yours with us. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, or just share with a friend. Or if you already have and are out of episodes to listen to, don't worry! We put out a new episode every Monday at midnight on SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes at Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves Podcast. And a very special thanks are due to our patrons, Sabelliello. And if you'd like to join said illustrious ranks, and have your name read aloud, just head on over to patreon.com/Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves Podcast. And remember, folks, if days are numbered and songs are sung, at the end of the day, I think we've all won. So please stick around, because great things have only just begun.